All right, everybody, based on the amount of saw blade distortion that you just heard, I'm going to go ahead and say that today's video is going to be on one thing and one thing only, the HM2, and how it inspired an entire genre called Swedish Death Metal. Now, I'm going to let my guy Daniel Eckeroth, in one of my favorite videos from the last 20 years, I used to watch this video in high school all the time. He's the guy who literally wrote the book on Swedish Death Metal, and I'm going to let him tell you real quick on how to get that Swedish Death Metal guitar sound. Check it out.
And you need to have the BOSS Heavy Metal pedal, and don't try this with the Metal Zone pedal, because Metal Zone pedals, they just suck. These levels must all be turned max, all to 11 basically. And you turn it on, and the guitar sounds by itself, and then you get this super fat sound. And that's the way you do it. Swedish Death Metal.
All right. And it really is that simple. But in my opinion, getting this tone just right is a little bit more tricky. So before I get into the rest of the video, I just want to say my name's Rich Bukowski, and this is Groundwork Sound in Somerville, New Jersey. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and let's get into this tone video. All right, so I got a request from my pal 9Scribble. They said, can we get a Swedish tone pack, boss? Boss? Am I the boss? Loving the content. I really appreciate it. And how coincidental that we're going to be cooking these up right here on the BOSS KATANA. This is tone number 1. I want to show you guys what they sound like, just me playing them, single channel, straight up the middle, and then I'm gonna show you some riffs with each preset. So check it out. So this is HM2 preset number 1, the original, everything on 11. Let's fucking go. That's the ultimate stack of saw blades right there. So these are all my settings, and the booster that I'm using is the HM2 booster. I'm going to be using these pretty much for all of them, but I'm dialing them in differently. The EQ sections are going to be your best friend here because I'm using them in every single one. This is how I'm really sculpting the sound to get that very specific sound that I'm hearing on different records from bands like, you know, At the Gates, Dismember, Grave, Entombed. When you guys download these presets, I want you to just take a look at everything that I'm doing here, and so you can better understand how I'm getting the sound. I'm really only using the effects section, the booster, and, you know, the entire tone stack here. And I'm just choosing the best combination of distortion from the amp type and the booster, to me, that goes together to get the sound that I'm looking for. So that's HM2 setting number 1. The original, everything on 11. Let's go into number 2. I made 2 straight up Swedish death metal, you know, presets, and this is the first one. You know, a little bit chunkier, a little darker, and again, using the HM2 boost, the lead channel, and just dialing in the mids a bit differently. A lot less mids here, but kind of compensating with them, boosting and cutting within the EQ. I'm not really going to go into the specifics. When you guys download these, you can see exactly what I'm doing and then alter them yourself. My only criticism for the EQ section on the Tone Studio is that it's just, I'm glad that it's not, you know, a visual thing, because that can kind of mess up, you know, when you're trying to listen. You know, you don't listen with your eyes, you listen with your ears. But to me, this is just a little clunky, but it still gets the job done, and I think it's nice to give you 2 sections. And also, your noise suppressor is going to be your best friend when you're using the HM2. This is number 3. This is Swedish Death Tone version 2. So this is a piggyback off of the one we just heard. It's bigger, fatter, the mids are a little bit scooped, but when you layer these, they really sound huge, and we're going to get into those when I show you guys the recorded riffs. And finally is the At the Gates tone. They tune to A. This guitar is tuned to C standard, as is my Randy Rhoads V. It's also tuned to C standard. My Ibanez is tuned to A. But if you listen to this tone, it's not as saw blade prevalent as the other ones. I really like the way they dialed in the sound on Slaughter of the Soul. They use the HM2, but it's not overpowering. It's not like the star of the show. And to me, that actually gives a little bit more originality, because I feel like when bands use the HM2 just cranked to 11, it sounds cool, but it doesn't really differentiate you from, you know, that particular sound from other bands. But it's the sum of all parts. It's not any one thing. So No rules. I'm not hating here. I'll say like the response for palm muting and, you know, intricate riffs is a bit better on this 4th preset. So let's get into the actual riffs now. This is my favorite part because this is going to be the best representation of what these tones actually sound like when you record them. You pan one left, you pan one right, you boom, you got a nice big fat stereo sound. So this is HM2 preset number 1, everything on 11. I recorded this with the V, tuned to C standard. I try to record a few different types of riffs because I want to show you how these things sound with, you know, among different dynamics. It's a nice fat chunky nails style riff. And don't forget, this Swedish death metal stuff, this was inspired by, you know, elements of punk and hardcore and, you know, American death metal and whatnot. And it all came together in a big stew. I really love the sound specifically of Swedish death metal because it's death metal and hardcore to me mixed in the best way. So, yeah, I think it's important to look at how a lot of these tones can be used differently. So let's check out another riff with that same preset, number 1. Oh, yeah. I had a lot of fun cooking these up the last couple days, and I really wanted to make riffs that just stood really well on their own. Let's hear that again. Killer. All right, on to number 2. Now, I recorded these 2 riffs with this guitar. It has invaders in it, and it's a Jackson SLX tuned also to C standard. And these are the riffs that I came up with. More reminiscent of Dismember, Entombed, Grave, that type of stuff. The Gothenburg sound. To me, that's already more pleasing to the ear. It's less harsh on the top end, and I like how the distortion is a bit more, a little bit more washed. The mids are a little less prevalent, but they're still there. You know, to me, the sound of this pedal is like very electric. It's very metallic, but when you dial out that real pointy harshness while you still maintain the character of the pedal, I think it sounds, in my opinion, this is my favorite sound. And it's so much more chunky. Yeah, it's so much more chunky. I mean, just listen to the chugs, listen to the low end of the chugs. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Very, very happy with how these came out. So I've recorded one longer riff with Swedish Death preset version 2. That's V2 of preset 2. Preset number 3. Stay with me here. And this one is a little bit more darker, has a bit different mid-range, but when paired together with itself, sounds great. When these are layered double, here, just fucking listen. I don't know why I'm talking so much. huge and fat. That's how you get that big fat guitar sound. That's what Daniel Eckeroth told us earlier. And even though I'm not using a Gibson guitar, still getting big fat sounds. These Invaders are really, really high gain, and anything that I play on these just sounds bigger and fatter. So the last tone that we're going to get at is the At the Gates tone, the Slaughter of the Soul tone. I recorded an At the Gates style riff, and I use my Ibanez, which is tuned to A, At the Gates tuned to A, and I think it sounds really cool in the lower tuning. Sometimes lower tunings can be a little bit flubby, but you know, just the nature of these riffs, I think it pairs really well. Check it out. So one thing I'm noticing here is to better match the album tone, I'd probably make this a hair brighter, you know, use some EQ and just bump up, you know, like the high mids, just a touch. It's almost there, but just a little bit so it cuts and bites a little bit more. But I'm noticing that the character of the pedal really comes through more in this setting when you hit chords as opposed to when you're just playing the straight up, you know, single note type riff. The chords, that character really comes out. Check it out. Here it comes. Yeah. Awesome. I think all those sound really great, and I think they're very representative of, and in my opinion, I think they're pretty accurate to what these bands sounded like, because took a lot of time going back and forth. I spent like 2-3 days sculpting these tones, because since the sound is so mid-range centric, it can really mess with your ears. So if you're listening for too long, too high of a volume or something like that, it could really distort your perception of how these things sound. So I had to work on the presets, step away, come back, make some tweaks, step away, come back, make some tweaks. And by the time I got back and I really didn't have to make any more changes, that's how I knew, like, all right, these are there. And then when I, you know, recorded with these presets, that really verified what I thought. I'm like, all right, cool. These are right where they need to be. And you'll notice that listening to the preset when you're playing it just by yourself with your guitar is going to be different than when you actually go to record it and you do a couple passes and they're working together to create that stereo field. It's just going to be a bigger, fatter sound. It's going to be more representative of what it's going to sound like in the end. Because if you're, like I said in previous videos, if you're dialing in too much or too little of something, you know, for your tone, I think when you go to layer them, it could either be too much or you might not have enough. So experiment, you know, do a few passes, make some tweaks, and just take the time to really sculpt the tone that you're trying to get. I'm not really using any type of crazy science. I'm literally just clearing the channel on my Boss Tone Studio and then starting from scratch and just doing, you know, active listening and comparisons to the actual albums, the tones that I'm trying to capture from these bands. So I had a lot of fun making this. I want to shout out and thank once again Nine Scribble for making the request. You guys have been really great at making video requests, and I take a screenshot and add it to my list of to-do videos every time you guys make a comment like that. So I got a whole mess of them ready to go, and I'm going to continue to work on those videos for you guys. Like always, you can download the live set, get all these presets. You can upload them to your Boss Tone Studio, and you guys could play these through your Boss Katana. And I'm going to put that in a link in the description for you to download. So once again, thank you guys very much for tuning in. That's been my little spiel on Swedish Death Metal. I want to thank Nine Scribble for making the request, and I want to thank everybody else for making requests, subscribing, leaving feedback, leaving comments, letting me know your thoughts. Everybody who's downloaded the tone pack and from this video or any other video, let me know how they're working out for you. Some of you guys have said this is exactly what you're looking for. It hits the bullseye for you guys. So once again, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to this channel, and I'll be back with another video real soon. Appreciate it. See you guys later.